Hello, this is Joseph Wilcox. I'm still doing Unit 7, Assignment 1. I'm now on to International Committee of the Red Cross. I'm just going to call it Red Cross for short. What is the Geneva Convention? The Geneva Convention is a series of treaties, 3 treaties, the first agreeing protection of any medical facilities or personnel or any civilians aiding the wounded, so helping wounded people. They will all be protected and not harmed. The second is soldiers at sea, protection of those, and then the third one is specific protection for the prisoners of war. And then there was a fourth Geneva Convention 20 years later than the last one, than the third one, sorry. Just updating the requirements, just making everything more clear, just so nothing's misunderstood, and really stating just how important they are. What is the link to the International Committee, the Red Cross? Well, the link is that the first Geneva Convention agreed that all medical facilities and their personnel and any civilians aiding the wounded will be unharmed, they'll be protected, they'll be out the way and they'll be looked after. This basically boosted international recognition for medical groups, and the biggest medical group that we know of is Red Cross. Now the Red Cross is a neutral medical group, so they'll be helping healing and looking after injured soldiers and civilians from both sides of the war. And obviously civilians caught in the middle of it. Now this is very important for them, as obviously they're not fighting. They are there to help the wounded and try and save lives, and it really does boost the recognition of medical groups like Red Cross, because it just shows how important they are. So that links into the Red Cross, as it basically gave the Red Cross the power to not be hurt, not be harmed, but to be looked after in war zones. So what impact did this have on the UK public services? Well, it helped the UK public services because it meant that they need to take thousands upon thousands of nurses, because the Red Cross would help with the nursing, would help with the care, would help with the first aid and all the injuries and everything. So really it just meant that they could reduce how much nurses they took, and that they could basically focus on what they were doing, and the Red Cross would help them. So it did have a positive impact on the UK public services. So then the Red Cross started back in 1863, and basically it was in a time when Europe was having a lot of wars, and basically the original aim / mission of the Red Cross was to help wounded and the sick during wartime. So they didn't really set out planning to help both sides. They just planned to say, okay, we'll help the wounded and the sick, try and save lives, try and help people get back to what they should be like. But the nature of the conflict changed our services, basically, so this became a massive thing. Instead of just helping a few people out and helping the wounded and sick, it basically expanded into what now is around 35,000 people involved in it. So what has the organisation achieved? Well, the British Red Cross Society is the UK part of worldwide impartial organisation, and the International Red Cross is a charity that has now got over 32,000 volunteers and now over 3,000 actual full-time staff. So these are the people, really are the miracle workers. They're at the heart of the organisation, providing help to people who are wounded and injured and sick, both in the UK and overseas, and mostly overseas, I'll add to that. The Red Cross is obviously committed in helping people, no matter of their size, age, race, religion. It doesn't have discrimination. It doesn't care anything about it, or it doesn't care about the political beliefs or whatever. It's just there to help everybody and heal people who are wounded and ill. So then, the aim of the organisation is to always be impartial. So they're not saying, okay, the UK, we like them more, we'll choose to help their soldiers, but we're not going to help the Russian soldiers. That's not the idea. The idea is to help everybody in times of war, conflict, and also natural disaster. They're always there in natural disasters, setting up first aid relief and like part-time hospital care sort of thing in those countries. So then, who does the organisation target? It targets everybody who's injured, sick, mainly during wartime. But as I said before, natural disasters. That's one of the things. So it'll target everybody, no matter race, age, gender, whether they're civilian or a soldier, whether they're British Army or Afghan Army. Their aim is to help everybody and bring everybody safely out of a war. That's what they aim. So where's the organisation working? Well, if I named every country that they're working in, I'll be here for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to quickly go through a lot of them. So then, worldwide, they do most of Europe, but they also do Asia and Africa as well. So we've got near enough the whole of Europe. They're in basically every country within Europe. And in Asia, they work in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Haiti. Haiti isn't part of Asia, but yeah. Iraq, Pakistan, Syria, Turkmenistan. Basically in Africa they're working a lot. Mainly the bigger African countries, but the ones who are in war or time of troubles. So they've got Zimbabwe, Yemen, South Sudan, South Africa, Sierra Leone, Mongolia, Liberia, Lesotho, Kenya, Guinea, and but obviously they don't just work there, they do work all around the world. So there will be parts of South America and North America, but mainly there. They also do work in countries like Philippines and all that. So they work all around the world. But this is where they are actually just helping the sick, wounded, whether it's in war or not in war, whether it's in natural disaster or not. The idea is to actually help them in those times, but they do help other people outside of those times and just as a general help to the country. So then the impact on the UK public services, as I slightly mentioned before, it really does actually help the UK public services, as the amount of nurses that have to deal with stuff when a crisis happens. They won't need to have as much, or the nurses will be able to go around more people and see more people because the Red Cross have took part of the people who need help and treating them. Most of them are qualified, but a couple of them aren't in the Red Cross, but near enough everybody is qualified and have a good standard of what they're doing. So this won't make the UK public services do any more work like the rest of the things that I've mentioned. They do make the UK public services do more, but this won't. This will just be looking how I can help, not necessarily just the UK, but the whole world. It helps all the world's public services, so it's a greater organisation, really. The Red Cross, as I said, are mostly voluntary. They're there when disaster takes place, when war takes place, or just in a country which is struggling financially, in poverty, or starvation or something. That's why they're so helpful. So then that was the Red Cross. Thanks.